ladies and gentlemen, I'm sitting here today with a very special guest of mine, but welcome to Caesars Palace, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here in 2025, we're at the Res Conference, myself and Lulu. And just for introduction's sake, Lulu is a great friend. I got to meet you last year at Res for the first time. You were killing it last year. And then this year, I've been hearing a lot of good things. I've been hearing Lulu's name in a lot of different things, a lot of publications, different shows, and stuff like that. So wanted to bring Lulu on, see about interviewing you, ask just kind of what is it that drives you, what's the inspiration behind you, what's the brand, tell us more about your story, Lulu, go for it.
Well, I grew up in the powwow circle, so I've been a powwow dancer since I was 2 years old, and my mom was a single mother, so she had to hustle a lot, and while growing up, I watched her do a lot of behind the scenes in the sewing room and the beadwork, and she kind of just paved the way without really trying to pave the way for me. And I've been beadworking and sewing at a really young age of 8 years old. And I had to sit down and fall in line when it came to powwows and start helping because I had two hands. And my mom was like, "You have two hands, start using them." So I was like, "Okay, let's do it." So I got into the beadwork first. I started sewing at a later age. I was like maybe 18. I picked it up. While watching my mom do a lot of the things that she did to keep us above water growing up, it was hard for her to sit down and actually teach me in more of a teachable way where it was patient, and I had to really just learn visually. And when it came to me asking questions or her actually trying to teach me, it didn't always go over so smoothly. It was more like, "Here, just do it this way. Here, just let me do it. I'll do it. So then she would take over, and so I kind of just really learned by trial and error when it came to sewing and then fashion designing. A lot of times she would make our outfits for us in the powwow circle, and I couldn't say anything. Like, I couldn't say, "Well, I don't like that," because then she's like, "Well, you make it." So then, so it was one of those things where I just had to pick it up and run with it. And now I'm able to, we got YouTube, we got TikTok, we got like all these short videos where it's like... I
constantly tell people it's like YouTube University.
It is. And that's actually essentially how I got so like into my business too, like the business aspect of it, because I'm like, okay, there's certain things I don't know what I'm doing, or like certain things where I want to hear more people talk about in their perspectives of how they jump started with their small business. Yeah. And I sat on YouTube for hours, like months at a time, and just took notes because I was like, all right, I have a general idea of like what I want to do. I want to bead and I want to sew. That's what makes me happy. That's what drives me. Like you're asking, like I just want to do something I love, because at the age I'm at, I'm like, the most important thing to me now is just to be happy about with what I do. And I'm just not a desk person. I don't want to sit at a desk for 8 hours. When I graduated college, I actually got this short like internship where I had to do data entry. And I'm not a math person. I'm not a data entry person, obviously. I'm an artist. Yeah. And literally all I did for 8 hours straight was put in phone numbers, emails, dates, and it was just driving me crazy. It's mundane, right? Oh my gosh, it was the most, I was like, I know I'm not cut out for that. It just like kills
the soul.
It does. And all I could think about, all I could think about was like, what could I be making right now? What could I be beadworking or starting a new project? And so the reason why I stuck it out for a full year is because the timeline was a full year, but I got money back on at the end. So I could either take a scholarship type deal or like a residual check, and not the scholarship, sorry. They took about $6,000 off of my student loans. So it was like, all right, I got to grit my teeth, get through this desk job, and then at the end it'll be worth it, because then my student loans will go down. Yeah, so they'll be paid. Yeah.
Well, $6,000.
Yeah, it's a big chunk, yeah.
That's a huge chunk.
So I took the $6,000, got my student loans down, and then but the company I was working for when I did that, it was a native CDFI. So they had all the resources. They had all the events to go to. They sent me to trainings. And so all the knowledge that I acquired from working from them actually helped bridge the gap for me to actually start my small business.
Nice.
So it was like the stars aligned for me, where it was like, all right, we're going to set you up here, and then you're going to, you make a business plan, get the business plan going, and then I attended a bunch of financial security workshops where it was like, okay, this is how you can like set yourself up and be prepared for the things to expect when you're starting a small business.
Yeah, especially like when you're getting to conferences and stuff like this, where they have those CDFIs, They're there. They're there for you to use as a resource.
Yeah.
You're just plugging yourself in.
Yeah, and it was so cool because I was like, this is like meant to be with the way everything was falling in line, because when I graduated, I had no idea what I was doing. All I seen was like they were going to take $6,000 off my student loans. I was like, all right, cool, let's do that.
Right.
And then when I got into the position I did, I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what I need. So it was like, perfect timing for everything. And so when I officially started in 2000, because I graduated in 2019, and then I officially jump-started my business in 2021 of October. That following January was my very first sale. I remember very vividly because COVID was going on too. So that was also like a weird time.
That was definitely a weird time. Don't want to live there anymore.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. So I was like, well, I don't even know if this is going to work because of COVID. Everything was so unexpected. But actually, with COVID happening, a lot of us were seeing arts was saving the lives of a lot of people anyways. So I just continued to pursue what I was doing, and then eventually when COVID got over, things started opening up again. I was able to travel. I was able to, get my name out a little bit farther, and I still work very closely with the CDFI because they promote a lot of the artists in the area anyways.
Okay.
So we still have a really good relationship, and she and the director of the program, she was like, I know you're not going to stick around. I was like, I know. I was like, I feel bad, but I really just got to follow my heart on this one.
I was going to say, but it feels good though, right? When it's like somebody believes in you that way, and they're like, we know you're not going to stick around. We know that this is just like a landing pad for right now.
Right.
And they know that, and they completely accept it, but they're willing to help you through to get to the next spot and not look at it and be like, you didn't stick around or anything like that.
Exactly.
That's great to have that support there.
Yeah, it felt really well. It felt really good because now I can go to her for a direction if I need help, and we still have that really good working relationship. So, yeah.
Nice. So, what was it that you're sitting there, right? You're like, all I want to do is beadwork. I want to be an artisan. I want to be an artist. I want to get out there and I want to show the world what I got, right? When you're sitting there and you're doing the sewing, you're doing the beadwork, what is it that really just is in your brain? What are you attacking? Or is is this meditation for you? What is that experience like for you?
I'm glad you said meditation because it's actually healing for me in a lot of big ways because I'm challenging myself every time I make something to be different, to be more creative than I was, the last project I did. And a lot of times with Indigenous people, you always hear, well, you can't create when you're feeling sad. You can't create when you have a heavy heart. You can't, And I think if we look at that in a different way, in a different perspective, where it's like, okay, if I am feeling these things, I know in my heart I have no ill will going into my work. But it does make me feel good. It makes me feel better. And also, I'm able to be alone with my thoughts, but I'm also able to be alone while creating. So to me, it's not a detrimental place. It's more of okay, let's move through the motions. Let's move through my thought process because that's healthy for you to do anyway while you sit with yourself and, move through your feelings. So in a way, for me, I always encourage people, I'm like, you know what, if you feel sad and if it feels good to you, make something.
Right.
Create something because that's going to always bring something. It's going to be rewarding at the end when you finish. And if you have, fear of those emotions going into your work, I always say smudge it off, sage it off.
Sage it off, get the blessings going. Mm-hmm. So because I'm assuming then, you don't necessarily just cut it off if you're feeling sad or angry. Mm-hmm. You're like, hey, I can still do my artwork, and I take no malice or anything against the way that I'm feeling. I'm just going to feel it so that way I can heal it, right? What you feel is what you heal. Yeah. Right?
Exactly. And there's no good or bad emotions. We label these good or bad, but they just are,
Right.
So, and that's how I feel about it. And I'm like, you know what? It works. It works for me. And I know for a lot of the people, other people, they feel the same way. And when we've had these conversations about what it feels like to heal while doing the things that you just know to do because that's your lived experience, then why not?
Yeah. Yeah, because the other thing I'm kind of wondering, so they did studies, right, with water or anything like that, and what they would do is they would, it wasn't the water studies. The water one is completely different. It'll blow your mind, and I don't know if you're into this stuff, but frequencies and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So they did a study with water, right? Mm-hmm. And what it was they would have like water, and then they would put like labels, like, or they'd whisper like "I love you" to it or something like that, right? And then they'd freeze
Like talking to it?
Yeah, they'd talk positively to it, and then they'd freeze the water, and the water that they talked to in a positive fashion, like perfect snowflakes, right, and crystalline structures.
The pattern?
Yeah.
Oh my
in
God,
the frozen
how cool.
water, right? But they also saw that if you had negative energy, right, negative stuff going towards this water, and then you froze it, it froze like super erratic, and like
Wow.
things were like all out of control, chaotic for the most part.
It's like seeing visual emotions.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So kind of looking at that, you're a part of nature, right, as a human being. And so just kind of looking at that as an artist, right, does your emotions get reflected in your work?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm kind of all over the board when it comes to creating and like the ideas that I'm trying to put out. The first couple years of starting my business, I was like, all right, what kind of business, like what kind of vibe do I want to get off? What is my energy? Like we were just talking about, like what is my energy?
What's my energy?
And like what do I want people to see me, or how I want people to see me? And at first I was like trying to get inspiration, scrolling Instagram, and it's inspiring, but it's also not inspiring, because then you start to get into this comparing thing where it's like, oh, they're
Right.
so good, or like, what am I doing that's going to be good too? And so you got to take that in strides. But
It's the doom scroll.
it is the doom scroll.
The doom scroll.
It's the doom scroll, because the comparison is the thief of joy. But but now, because at first I was like, all right, I'm going to do this because I want it to look a specific way. Like I was like really into the traditional side. Like I want to keep it like how our ancestors used to make things back in the day, like the same vibe that they're giving, the same colors, And then it wasn't really feeding my soul. I loved it. Like I made good work with it, but it wasn't feeding my soul. Like I'm such a vibrant person already, where I'm like, I want like these colors. I want a little spark of characteristic of,
Right.
neons or florals or pinks, and
Yeah, you're grabbing that attention.
Yeah, and so
And being expressive of yourself.
yeah, exactly. And so so then I started mixing that into it, and then using traditional designs still. So it gave it a little bit of edge, but I heard somebody coin my stuff a couple years ago. Also another person that worked with the CDFI, but he also does fashion shows and got me into it. But he said when introducing me to the people, I was neo-traditional.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool word. I like that, neo-traditional.
Yeah.
And so it explains like the pop art side, but also the traditional side, and just bringing those both together and fusing them together. And so that's kind of like what my work puts out most. Like I touch and dabble on a lot of different things, but that's the majority of what I've been putting out. And
Right.
people are receptive. They love it. Like
I've been seeing a lot of new designs from a lot of different designers and stuff like that, but like that neo-traditional kind of just like, it's almost like print work in a way, but like you were saying, like a pop.
yeah.
Yeah, that good pop, but like still those traditional like plants or flowers, stuff like that. And it's remarkable, the things that I've been seeing.
Yeah. So it's worked really well so far, and I've learned to just go with what my heart and my gut is feeling, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to be a certain way and trying to fit the mold of like what I thought people wanted, and I was like, you know what, this isn't really like making me feel the good feelings I should be feeling.
Well, I mean, that's what it really comes down to. Like you were saying, social media kind of can be the thief of joy for the most part, because you do get into this comparison aspect, and you're looking at other people and you're like, well, their life looks like this, but they went to school for 10 years on this, and then you start giving yourself limitations on what it is.
Or putting yourself in a box.
Putting yourself in a box. Like, I have to be a content creator, so then I have to do this, and I have to do that.
And that's another whole layer right there, the content creating.
Oh, man, content creation is nuts.
It is.
How's your experience been, like, in the digital realm?
Okay, so it was hectic at first. So when we were talking about watching YouTube, right? YouTube University, I YouTube everything. When I started the beadworking and the sewing, I already knew I could do that, but I also wanted something that was going to be like my bread and butter, like the filler, because I make statement pieces, and it's like high quality. The price is going to be a lot higher than most things, because they're statement pieces. But not everybody can afford that. I wanted to make my products affordable or like accessible to everybody.
Right.
So I actually purchased a sublimation printing machine, and then I purchased a heat press, and so I started doing graphic work. And I started doing my own t-shirts and making patches and hats and earrings and stuff. All that stuff to kind of like replicate the real stuff. So taking pictures of my beadwork and then transferring it over onto some like birchwood earrings.
Yeah.
That way, if they can't have the original statement piece, they can at least have a little bit of piece of that on the earrings that are more, affordable price.
That are more affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's that been working as far as your digital like outreach?
Oh yeah. So that was what I was heading to. So with that, I started making the content creation because I was like, all right, well, how am I going to reach the people that I want to reach? Like, how am I going to know who my target audience is? And I started just doing a lot of behind the scenes and, the pictures or like DIY stuff. Because going into it, I was like, how am I going to catch people's attentions? Like, I know people want to see the work that I'm doing, but a lot of people want to follow people who are offering knowledge of some sort.
Right.
Which is also very demanding in a way where I'm trying to focus on the beadwork, but I'm also over here making content where you're having to cut and paste, edit, voiceovers, all these crazy things that people have to go to school for. Like,
well, you think they have to go to school for.
You think they have to go to, but like I said, YouTube University, I was like, okay, let's do it. Like, if I'm going to go all in, I better go all in because, like most small businesses, you got one person that's wearing the hat of like 10 different roles.
Exactly.
So I had to really hone in on like transitions, like behind the scenes, B-roll stuff, like all the stuff that you don't really think of until you get to that point.
Yep.
And then start building a following. So I actually started on TikTok and Instagram, and they were both slow. And then Reels started picking up, and Reels were like a thing, shorts and stuff. And I was just like, okay, I gotta do more videos. And so like I was like trying to follow the trends. And after I got a good following, it's not a huge following, but it's good enough for me. Like some people want to go to like 50K plus following, and I'm like, I'm good. I got 13,000, that's cool. Like,
yeah, that works.
I'm okay. I still reach people. Like,
you're still reaching people.
Exactly.
A lot of people, when the math is mathing, 13,000 people, that's a lot of energy coming your way.
It is.
A lot of positive vibes.
We got 4,500 here at Res, right?
And it's packed.
It's crazy here.
Yeah, so you can only imagine.
What, 13,000?
13,000 people. It's like, when you actually, especially because your followers, you care about them.
Yeah.
So it's like you want to be able to produce this content. You want to be able to produce these teaching moments, these opportunities for these people to be able to like dive into it, feel that they're a part of it. And so 13,000 people, when you take care of 13,000 people, can move a lot more than 1 million people that are just ignored.
Exactly. And so after I got a good following I was satisfied with, I kind of cut back on the content creating. I post more now, like just regular pictures.
Yeah.
I'll do a couple videos here and there, but I won't waste too much energy on it like I was doing. I'm not saying I wasted energy, but I won't focus on that part as much as I used to, just because it does eat a lot of my time. And
so, where focus goes, energy flows, right? So if, where's your focus going now?
Oh, gosh. I was actually reflecting about that as we entered into the new year in January, and we're already 3 months in, and I'm still reflecting. But
that's good, though. You have time to reflect.
Yeah, last year I had a lot of fashion shows lined up, so I have been stepping over into the fashion world. And it feels really good that people know my work because here at Res, I've had a ton of people ask me if I'm in the show, and I'm like, I wish somebody please talk to Cora. But no, I think I'm gonna keep stepping into the fashion world this year.
Okay.
I really love making custom pieces. One-of-a-kind pieces.
Yeah.
Anything I've made is never going to be duplicated, never repeated, never, it's just always going to be the one-of-a-kind. So those kind of things,
that's huge.
Yeah, they really just try. And that's what motivates me, like seeing the final product and thinking, dang, I really made this. Like, oh my goodness.
I always love original pieces, especially like art pieces and stuff. Wall decor. Like I like to have like collective paintings and stuff. And so each painting, though, even if it happens to be the same, like scene, it's not the same.
No.
Like there's individual brush strokes that are way different, than the previous brushstroke. And so like just those little differences are the thing that really make the big picture just like pop. And so to see that like you're making these statement pieces and these original pieces and they're never going to be duplicated again, like a bead could be just out of place just a little bit or something, but it makes that piece like completely unique in comparison to the other ones. I actually like when I go, right, I like to purchase earrings anytime I come to a conference or anything like that, take them back to my fiance. I just look for those like little subtle differences, and it makes the big difference in what I'm buying and the story that I'm able to bring back and stuff like that. So like it's really cool to see like that you're really putting a lot of effort and emphasis into the original pieces.
I agree. I really do agree. Statement pieces, that's what I love to do. But yeah.
So how's the turnout for you been so far at Res?
It's been really good. The first day was amazing. The energy was high, a lot of socializing. Second day, also still the same energy of people are like, we're ready, we're here. So I'm like, come by. And the lunchtime, my favorite part, everybody's just funneling in, like looking through everybody's tables, and I'm all, come back, you guys all gotta come back after lunch. And the energy's good though. We're only on, what is this, the second day?
Yeah, day number 2. I was so surprised to see how many people were up and awake at Res. Like, I'm like, all right, not everybody got taken down on Monday.
Exactly. I knew not to. I was like, let's get some sleep. I want to be energized. I want to be able to talk to people all day long.
You definitely don't want to be the person that everyone's talking about at the conference.
No, not at all. not that, no. I got here, let's see, doors opened, 8? I think I got here about 8:30. Yeah, it's good.
Right on time.
Caught the morning crowd, yeah.
I know. How was the morning crowd this morning? Like,
the morning
crowd was pretty
good.
Packed?
Not as packed as lunch.
Okay.
Everybody kind of trickled in on their own time, because I think, like you said, like some people were like coming in
tired.
About 9, But I mean, just even the walking here has exhausted a lot of people. And I don't blame them. The concrete and just everywhere. The
concrete is unforgiving. And I'm in my cowboy boots, and I'm just like, my feet are just like sore.
Yeah, it's like walking barefoot.
Yeah.
I'm like, we used to do this way back in the day.
Way back in the day before cushion soles.
Like what?
The madness, like of all things. Like if I were to go back in time, I would not take out like tennis shoes. Like I'm like, no.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Like I look at our ancestors and I'm like, moccasins.
Yeah.
Those are tough.
They would have had to layer those up, I feel like.
Yeah.
Couple layers of moccasin, buckskin.
Stinky feet after the first layer, so you just peel it back.
Oh my God.
No, I'm just kidding. No, so as far as, just kind of looking ahead, right?
Yeah.
So what are the things that you feel like either you can do better, or the fashion industry could do better, or even just kind of like the artistry industry in general? Like what is it that you feel like could be better as we move forward into the future?
Paying your people. That is a huge thing right now. There's been a lot of conversations on social media, especially Facebook. People making their posts because they can. It's their opinion, and of course, everybody else is going to jump on board. But paying the models, paying the designers, paying everybody involved. And if you don't have the money to pay, raise the money, get the grants. Ask for fundraise, and. There's been a couple shows I've attended that have invited me out that did not pay anybody, but we also didn't even get like a discount code for a hotel stay. Like we had to pay everything out of our own pocket. And,
wow.
You hear people's different perspectives and opinions about that, and some people are like, well, you have to do that if you want to get your name known. You have exposure, this and that. But we're in an age where it's like, no, pay your people. Like I'm over here. Sweatshop making these pieces 10 to 12 looks all year round, and that takes a lot of supplies, time, effort, time away from my kids. Like there's a lot of sacrifices that go into it. And
I feel like you have to be like in solitude at some points in time where it's just like you by yourself, and that's a lot of time that other people don't get to spend with you.
Exactly. It is, and my kids see it the most, because as a single mom, like I'm wearing hats of a lot of different roles, and actually right before I got came to Res, I was being basketball mom, and I had to switch modes like within one day, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, now we're gonna be business mode, like business mom mode, and my kids were like, let me go down. And I was like, no, you guys cannot go down. I was like, I cannot be a vendor mom, business mom, and mom, like that's gonna be way too much.
That's way too much.
But yeah, just being compensate people. Like, let them know you care about them, that you appreciate their work. Like
don't immediately ask for a discount.
Yeah, or just don't ask for me to do things for free.
Right.
We don't do that no more.
Right, that's the other thing. It's like you want to be able to establish your value because you value your time too.
Oh yeah.
Right, and you want to have that hard stance because it's creating a boundary of saying, hey, like I'm not going to just do this for free.
Yeah.
If I want to do it for free, it's because I want to give something to you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a gift from me.
Exactly.
But like, don't expect it to be for free. Exactly. It's just something that I happen to like. That's my trade. That's something valuable that I feel like handing over to you.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, because none of the shows would happen without the designers or the models.
Oh. No, not at all. Like, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand. I love that part. I'm sure that you've watched Devil's Word Prada, right? Where she's like, you'd think you're blue. You think that you're like just dressing middle of the line.
Oh yeah.
Because like you just having some regular blue sweater, but what you don't understand is the color was actually picked out by somebody like the people in these rooms.
Yeah.
And it's like we curated your entire look.
Right.
And it's like, wow, yeah.
From the
a lot of people don't realize
it's
like when, especially like in the digital space, right? We're talking about things like AI or intellectual protections and things like that. And it's like you have all these artists, all these designers, and when people are like, well, we want to protect the culture, it's like, who do you think you need to protect then? The artists that are creating these things, the creatives that are actually creating the pieces that help to define and create character within a culture, as opposed to just saying culture, because like it's like you can have something written on paper, okay, but once it's illustrated, once people can see it, once they can use their imaginations, fill in the blanks as far as colors and stuff like that, make it their own. Like, once they start to see those developments, which are usually brought on by artists, it's like then the construct can really be solid. But until then, it's like if there's no artist, there's no backbone.
Exactly. It's kind of like how artists saved us during COVID.
Yeah.
Like that's what they think the fallback plan is, but it's not a fallback plan.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like you do need to pay your people, and you need to pay them good. Like, not necessarily in a way that it's like, oh, you're ripping anybody off or anything like that, but it's like you still want to pay them decent because you want to show them that you appreciate their work.
Exactly.
And not only appreciate it for now, but also appreciate it into the future. Nice.
Yeah.
And so, as far as your future plans, like for your business, what do you got going on? Because you're a strong, independent, single mom, got a couple of kids, and it's like, how do you feel as far as like you being an inspiration to your kids, future generations coming up behind you?
Oh, the weight of the world is how I feel.
Yeah?
But in a good way. Because I am showing my kids what's possible. And my oldest, she's 10, and she sees the things that I do, the products that I sell, the merchandise, the beadwork, and it's rewarding and so loving to me because when I finish something, the first person I show is my daughter. I'm like, look at this. Look what I just finished. I was like, do you like it? And we'll have like this little short exchange. She's like, oh my God, that'll be so beautiful. And she's like, what if you did this? And what if you did that? And so she'll give me ideas. And so like it's influencing her already because she's now thinking about things that she could make or she could sell.
Yeah.
And, being an artist myself, we also do powwows and we travel around and we do a lot of dancing and stuff. And she'll request money from me every once in a while. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to work for it? I'm not just going to hand you over this amount of money. And because it's not like $20. It's just like $150 to $100. And I'm like, that's a lot of money just to be giving you. So I was like, if you think of something...
Especially being 10.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Your 10-year-old's balling.
What are you trying to buy? Like, she's like, I just want to have it. I want to hold it. I'm all, oh my God. I was like, no, because I can hold it for you. Like, why? But I'm like, think of something you want to sell. What do you think you would enjoy making? because I've seen just even like on YouTube, you know, kids are famous on YouTube. They can just make them bank, and I'm like, you could like
There's
start
a kid
your
that
own
literally
channel.
goes to, like, what is it called? Costco. And, like, just points out the deals at Costco. Made a channel off of that.
Oh my God. See, and it could be so easy. And I always tell her, because like being a business mom, being a powwow mom, I'm like, we could make a vlog ourselves. Like, you take all the video, you do all the content, and I'll help you edit it. And then you can start your own channel and show people the adventures you're going on at 10 years old that most kids aren't seeing.
Right.
And so anyway, I've been trying to give her ideas of starting her own something. I don't know, but I've like, think of an idea, let's make a plan.
Right.
And then, yeah, maybe I'll give you $100 a hold. But, like, other than that, we're not just giving out money here. So she actually had thought about, like, slime and, like, the dried freeze candy. Like, things more kid-oriented.
Slime would go over so good with all the kids.
I know, that's what I said.
Not the parents.
I know. I'm one of those parents where I'm
You're like, you got to speak to the people that have the wallet, honey.
Yes, exactly. So just being able to expose her to what I'm doing, the excitement that, you know, I see on her face when she sees somebody wearing one of my items is phenomenal. It's a good feeling to me. It warms my heart because she's like, Mom, look, they're wearing your shirt, or they're wearing, you know, whatever it is I made. And it just feels good. I'm like, oh, you're right. I was like, you've got a good eye. I was like, I wouldn't have caught that. Thank you. So it really just makes a big impact, and I don't really understand how much of an impact it is until I'm having to sit down and actually have this conversation like we are now.
Yeah.
You know, because now I'm reflecting, and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, it's so impactful on her. And and it's not like I'm intentionally doing that for her. I intentionally started the business because I wanted something to make me happy, but also make us money.
Right.
But also give us the flexibility to be able to be home with my girls, or taking them to a powwow across the whole United States and just be able to drive.
Right.
You know, I don't have to come back on Monday to go to work, or I don't have to wait till Friday to leave after work. We can just come and go as we please.
Yeah.
And
those rides in the car with Mom are so crucial. They're so important. Not gonna lie. I mean, when I was younger, those used to be some of my favorite times, when I was just riding in the car with my mom and she'd be telling us stories and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're getting so many stories on the way to Parker or Lake Havasu, or going down to Phoenix, or coming up to Vegas or anything like that. It's just like me, my mom, my brothers, and we would hear all these stories. I mean, it got to the point where she started repeating stories.
Oh, yeah.
But
I've repeated a couple scary
they were
ones.
still fun. Oh, no. The kids always need to have the scary ones repeated.
Yeah, because sometimes we will drive through the night, and I always tell them, like, don't ever leave your seats empty. Like, you never know what could jump on. I was like, always have your bags in your seats, because you never know what's going to happen.
That's creepy.
And that's the one thing they always remember, because we live in the mountains.
I drive with empty seats all the time.
Oh my God! My mom has told me that all the time.
Really?
So it's like a real thing. Yeah. So especially when you're going through mountain passes, because there's so many people who've gotten in wrecks unexpectedly. Like you don't know what's out there. You don't know what's like walking alongside the road trying to catch a ride.
Yeah.
You know.
Skinwalker.
I mean, I'm not saying nothing, but
I'm not saying they're real, but I'm not saying that they're not.
I mean, I'm not saying that into the mic.
Yeah. It's like Voldemort.
Oh my God, right? So in the area we're from, I'm from North Idaho, so I'm Nez Perce, Warm Springs, Paiute, and we have mountainous passes a lot of the times up there, and we have to go through that to get from Idaho to Montana. And it's a three-hour drive to get through there, but there's no cell service, like, at all.
Creepy.
And yeah, and it's creepy when you're going through there like at 2:00 in the morning, and the moose, they're out walking around, like, and I've seen one moose going through there. I freaked out because
it was massive?
Oh my God, I've never seen a moose in my real life, and I did, like, last summer, and I was just shook. I was like, damn, that was a moose. Because I see deer all the time, like coyotes, all the typical animals you'll see going through a pass. But man, yeah, that moose was huge. But every time we go through that pass, they're always sleeping. But when it's like dusk, we'll drive through there too, and we always tell the same stories, and I always get all freaked out. But that's the only one that I always tell her. And so when we go through the pass now, she always reminds me, put something in that seat over there, or put something over there, so nobody's
gonna sit in. Oh, that's creepy. I'm thinking like some Matrix moves, a ghost just like floats into your car.
Something, I don't know. Now you're always gonna remember that. It's gonna be a core memory for you.
I'm never. So I drive a Chevy Silverado, right? But the majority of the time, it's just me, unless I have my fiance and my dog with me. But like, on travel trips like this, it's just me. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to just start piling everything on my seats. Ain't going to be no room in my car.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Well, good. Now you know.
People are going to be like, do you have room in your car? I'll be like,
No.
hold on, I got to move some stuff. I was just making sure the ghost didn't show up to my car. Oh, man. That's
funny.
wild. So kind of wrapping this stuff up, like what would you say to the Native entrepreneurs that are out there as far as from your experiences, setting up your business, dealing with things possibly like imposter syndrome or, people talking bad about any products or like just kind of like getting through discouragements or anything like that and having to put up resilience? What do you got to say to the entrepreneurs that are out there that are just getting started that are going to face those things?
Oh man. This is probably the same message everybody gives, but just to keep showing up for yourself. Keep at it. Be persistent. You have to just keep learning. The learning curve is going to be huge. It's going to feel massive, but one thing at a time. Take it day by day. I think the biggest challenge for me was the business part, the actual taxes and keeping track of bookkeeping, all of that stuff. I was like, oh my God, and like we were talking about earlier, all the roles we have to play. And some people can afford to pay bookkeepers.
Right.
I can't, and I don't, I guess my priorities are a little bit different, but other people will prioritize that to get rid of the work. But within the last few years I've been operating, I dreaded tax season, and I still do. I'm not happy
I think I
about
dread tax season. As a small business owner myself, I dread tax season.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, now I got to go in my accounts. I got to figure out what I can write off and what I can't.
Exactly.
Different stuff like that.
Yeah, it's become easier. It's become more familiar because I've kept showing up, because I kept at it. I've asked a lot of questions, but if I were to give advice, I tell people all the time, reach out to people, talk to people, network, resource. There are so many people who want to connect, collaborate, or help, or partner. You know what I mean? Just keep talking to people and just show up for yourself.
Exactly.
It's for you. It's your investment. I would rather invest in myself than invest in a company that I'm just there for them.
Yeah, you're
I'm
just
working
living
for
somebody
them.
else's dream.
Exactly. And that's what I tell people all the time. If you want to quit your day job with whoever owns that, you'll never reap nothing from that. You'll just get a paycheck. And they get to tell you when you can come and go. And they'll decide if your kid's soccer game is important enough for you to take the day off.
Right.
And so, I just invest in yourself. Make the jump, take the risk, keep showing up for yourself.
Take the risk. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Well, Lulu, thank you for coming to the booth. Thank you for hopping on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Shout out to everybody that's out there that you want to show some love to, and then also to let people know where they can find you.
Yes. So my business name is Nchiwana. I didn't get a chance to explain that. That's actually Sahaptin for the Big River. And the Big River is located in Oregon, which is like the spinal cord river of our Plateau people. And everybody comes there, historically was a trading point for people to meet up, do their trades, and then go back to their separate ways. But it's still there today. There's still people fishing. That's where most of our salmon are running. It's just an incredible place, location, the meaning of it. If you are from the Plateau area, you hear the word Nchiwana, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Everybody knows the Big River because that's where everybody fishes. So Nchiwana, Nchiwana. Social media is Nchiwana, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
You just got to go like that, huh?
Yeah. I have my business card, so I can leave a business card here for you guys on the table or, But yeah, follow me, get on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the good stuff.
Nice.
I'm on all of it. I'm still posting. It's not as much videos, but I'm still posting. I'm very active. Now that I got the following, I need to be on with the followers. I'm slowing down on the videos.
Yeah, you know what? As long as you're taking care of your people.
Oh yeah, definitely. But thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Thank you so much. This is so great.
Yeah, it's a great setup. I love Tria. Love what you're doing. Awesome.
We love you. We love what you're doing. So, well, thank you, Lulu.